he's smart, but he's calm in the critical moments, and he always wants to do better, and he's one of those guys that if something goes wrong, he takes responsibility. He's really everything you'd want to see in a leader.
He was the block out guy, so obviously his teammates respected him. It seems like the last part of the season, he's really raised the level of play where he's not just a leader, but he was a star as well.
Yeah. That's good to see because, Cody, my first 2 years here, wasn't a starter. In this day of transfer portal, he's a guy that could have easily left. He could have been a starter. He was as good as Tommy and Steele and moved around and played different things. Never complained, never said a word. He's really an old school guy when it comes to being a football player.
And just how well is he playing?
He's playing great. He's playing great. He's in all the right spots. And then, like you said, not only that, making checks for the defense. And, he understands how I think. We've been together 3 years. He knows what I'm thinking. It's easy for me to say something to him, and he can change it on the spot. He's doing that. But like you said, he's also making the plays that are showing up.
I was going to say the word you used, trigger. He's triggering extremely well, right?
He's seeing everything.
Yeah.
He really is.
Did you see something click in him middle of the year forward though, Jim? Because he really kind of jumped out at you from the Nebraska game on, in my opinion.
I did not, but I'm with these guys every day for 3 years, and like people have asked the same thing about Jack and JT. Like, what? No, like to me, you're a function of your habits, So to me, it's like these guys have been doing all the right things. When you watch every play and evaluate them, they're doing all the right things. And when you do that on a consistent basis, the big plays come. I just think that's a matter of how you prepare and train.
Jim, you spent, felt like in the second half of the year, a lot of the pressure was coming from adding blitz and maybe some different looks, and you didn't have to do that really hardly at all. It didn't seem like that against Oregon.
No.
Why were you able to do it? Why is the defensive line?
I feel like we've done enough now with the coverage and structure of the way we look that hopefully it's forcing the quarterback to hold the ball a little bit longer, and that's when the rush delivers.
It feels like there was one of the 3-man snaps, maybe it was Cody's sack, where Jack was still winning up front, and that wasn't happening a ton in the first half of the year. I know that it's been in them, but in addition to maybe different looks in the secondary, it feels like there's a different level of production coming.
There's. I don't know. I think guys are cutting it loose. You get down to the end, and they want to keep playing together. They don't want it to stop. And sometimes when you get to these moments of your career, we have veterans. There's always that little bit extra level you can turn it. That's human nature. Right? There's always you think you've given it all until everything's on the line, and then you see, okay, wow, I do have an extra gear, So I think you're seeing some of that.
Is the way this offense is playing maybe impact the way you call the game or the aggressiveness you see from your defense?
Absolutely. My job is to help to win the football game. So, you definitely have to play off the situation of the game. That's all part of it. Our offense has been doing so well, particularly early in the game. I think that changes the way that I call it for sure. Right. Yeah, that when you can make a team an offense one-sided, I think those guys really have the chance to go to work.
Jim, the things you're doing with Caleb when you kind of have him in the middle there, what's the impetus of that, I guess? Like in your kind of coaching career, when did you start using safeties that way? And has Caleb unlocked anything new for you that you haven't been able to do in the past?
Well, he's just really good. I mean, but I mean, so it makes me look good. But I've done that throughout my career with different players, more with players from the front than the back end. But at Oklahoma State, when you had to defend against the explosive play all the time, is really when I created that structure. And it just makes sense when you have a guy like Caleb Downs to get him in the middle of the action.
Why weren't you doing that early on? Or I guess maybe why are you doing it more now in the back half than you were in the first half?
Didn't need it, I guess. I mean, we've played pretty well over the course of my time here. So, it's my job to pull these things out when we need them. And, that was, and I think, we didn't have a great game against Oregon, so the first time, and, that led me to say, okay, what can I do now to change things up, and that's why.
Jim, you spent a lot of time here last week talking about trying to find that balance, pressure, when to set pressure, when not to.
Right.
Do you feel like you've started to find that? Because like you said, back half of the year you blitz a lot. Like you haven't done that so much in the playoffs. You feel like you're starting to find that balance.
I think, every week is different. Every week is different, and you have to be prepared for everything, and you have a plan. But then you get into the game, and my job to call the game is based on the situation of the game. What's working, what's not, what's the balance of where our team's at in the game. So there's a lot that goes into that.
When GT and Jack, even Ty and Ty, you're stopping the run the way you are. How much does that help with you as a play caller? You want to scheme a blitz, you want to just send forward?
It's everything. It's everything. I mean, those when those guys are controlling the front, which I think you all would agree that they have, consistently, really over the course of my time at Ohio State, but more effectively, during this long back half of the season. It changes how you call the game. It allows you to do other things.
Is it beneficial to all to have?
When you decide to utilize stunts and twists and things up front, how do you choose which pairing of guys work well together? Like, what are the characteristics you look for in deciding who you want to play games with each other up front?
Yeah, I think that's part of the secret game planning process. I can't divulge.
Do you want to have, as a play caller, in instances like blitzing, where you're blitzing a lot some games and you dial it back other games, and sometimes it's situational? Do you want to have variety as a play caller to?
Yeah. Yes. If I could, I'd blitz every single play with with a million different blitzes and schemes, and that's fun for me. But that's not about me. It's about the players, and it's about what's working and the situation of the game.
What are the important elements of getting a quarterback to hold the ball longer? Because it looked like Gabriel, compared to the first game,
Right.
when you guys played, he was sitting in the pocket much longer, patting the ball more.
Then you have to change the picture post snap. You change the picture post snap, and that forces them to hold the ball, try to figure it out.
As you look at your guys right now, and I watch them, they're having so much fun out there. And they celebrate now, and they're really, it's like they're feeding off each other, and who's going to be the next guy. Do you see that?
Yeah, I see that. What Ohio State is like. The expectations are high all the time, and those guys feel that, and sometimes it's a heavy weight. So you like to see them having fun. It's still a game, and these are still brothers, and so really you want them to have fun. Forget about the expectations. Go out and enjoy your brothers and the time that you have here on the field with them, because it doesn't last forever.
A month ago, things have changed so much. Now everybody loves the Buckeyes. That's all you hear. Do you guard against that? You know, like Ryan calls it noise. Nick Saban called it rat poison.
Oh yeah, no. I don't talk about it. I don't guard against it. I don't play into it. You know, we try to keep to ourselves and our process, and you know, sticking together and putting a plan together, practice the plan. You know, that's my job. You know, I'm like a middle manager, so I just have to. I have to make sure those guys are ready and prepared for the game. But the rest of it that goes on, you know, I really don't talk about it. I just want to teach them, and I want them to be ready to play well.
With that said, though, playing chess, if you want to call it this, I mean, how much fun are you having, and seeing what you dreamed about coming true?
Yeah, I don't have a lot of fun, really. I mean, because because that's not my job. Again, like it's, I'm always trying to stay one step ahead, or think about what's coming next. But I'll have fun when it's done and we've done our job and completed our task. But in the meantime, I want the players to have all the fun. I want them to have all the fun. You know, I want them to know that all the good plays are on them and all the bad plays are on me. So go out and enjoy it. So my fun comes from just kind of sitting back and watching them have a good time. You know, like a parent. You know, you want your kids to enjoy it. You know, and you want to be able to provide that for them. But kind of sitting back and watching it is where I get my enjoyment.
Jim, you were talking about the fun of blitzing, and you can't always do that every play and all that, and the situation kind of dictate what you do as a play caller. With the respect to the two playoff games and not blitzing as much, what about the situations allowed you guys to maybe dial that stuff
Well,
back?
you know, I think the way our offense has been playing and the fact that, we've been able to take control of the game early. I've tried to manage those situations, and I think that's always a good situation for any team to be in. And you don't want to be that guy who, just because I want to show my creative side, that we end up giving something up. So I think you got to manage the situation of the game.
What's your expectations for Friday out of your guys? The game plan, the way they're playing, what's your expectations?
I expect them to perform at a high level and execute the game plan at a high level and play really hard, and everyone to see the silver bullets flying around the field. And that's what I expect.
You talked about change.